All right, welcome back to the BJJ Business and Martial Arts Marketing Podcast. I'm Lance. Um, got some cool stuff today. We really want to talk about falling in love with the process. Jim Rohn talks about this a lot. Don't worry about the result, fall in love with the process. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We call it the cage in the kingdom, but there's different things that you can kind of learn or understand about this process. And what we've kind of found is that everyone wants the result, right? Everybody wants the result. They want to be jacked. They want to be skinny. They want a lot of leads. They want a better business, better relationship. But no one wants to put the reps in to actually get those results, right? So my dad used to always say, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And so the idea is really everybody wants the result, but nobody wants to do the things, the dirty things, the nasty things that you need to do in order to hit that result. So let me ask you, what if the real prize wasn't the belt, wasn't the titles, wasn't the leads, wasn't the ads, wasn't the results, the money in the bank? What if the real prize or the real result is the person that you become by doing the deed, right? Doing the work every day, doing the reps, putting the time, energy, effort into it, right? We call it chopping the wood at Academy Kings. But the idea is really like, what if that is the goal? What if that is the result that you really need to come or really need to learn? So, when I saw the article or really the quote from Jim Rohn about this the other day, it hit hard, right? He said, really the idea is stop obsessing over results, right? Start falling in love with the process. So if I can fall in love with the process, doing the reps, chopping the wood, doing the work every day, I'm going to eventually see those results. Because the process or the journey is what actually creates you, right? The finish line or the result just really reveals who you've become. So, the idea is put the work in, fall in love with the process, fall in love with the journey, and you will find the results at the end. And that hit me hard when I really started to think about it because lately when I was back in the lab, when I was really rebuilding everything, including myself, rebuilding the Academy Kings, all of the kind of coaching programs that we do, I found that really the process itself is what shapes your identity, right? It's the grind. It's doing the work every day. That's what builds that identity or that person. It's not the result. So when I stepped back in the lab, it wasn't really about chasing some kind of new hack or new shiny system or some kind of new ad funnel or anything like that. It was really about the idea of rebuilding myself. And so what I want you to kind of challenge you to do is really start to look at how can you rebuild yourself. Do it through a foundation, because behind that foundation or on top of that foundation, everything else will come, right? The foundation is the strategy or the tactics that will get you that result. The process is what creates that identity. Think about lifting weights, right? You can't go from 0 to 1,000 pounds. You have to build capacity, and that step-by-step process is what gets you there. The results are just the receipts from that effort, right? So the results that we get, whatever that goal is, those are just the receipts of the thing that we did on that daily basis. It's the daily discipline, showing up, training, leading the team, refining, the person that you are is really what shapes who you become. It shapes that destiny. It shapes the person that you are. When we think about gardening, right, the seed doesn't grow because you stare at it. No, it grows because first you scrape up the soil a little bit, put the seed in place, you water it, you keep the weeds away from it, and then eventually it blooms or grows into the thing it needs to be, right? Every rep is building confidence, is building credibility, it's building character in the person that you're becoming. Look, titles will fade away, bank accounts will fluctuate, but it's really who you become through the grind every day, through chopping the wood, doing the work day in, day out. That's what becomes permanent, right? That's the person that you've become. And most of the time, you're not becoming that person. You're already that person. You just have to reveal it through the work. Chasing results is typically where most people will quit, right? When you look at a school owner stuck in what they're doing day in, day out, we call that the cage. If they're stuck in a process, stuck at 50 students, stuck at 10,000 a month, whatever that current stage is or situation, that's the cage. That's where they're stuck. The kingdom is the result, or the thing that they're chasing, right? The thing that they're looking for. And if you're trapped right now chasing that income or that outcome, more students, more cash, more comfort, whatever that result might be. And if you're chasing that without understanding the work that it takes to build that foundation or build that bridge to that goal or kingdom, that's when it's going to be really tough for you, right? That's when a school owner will quit right before they break through, because they're trying to jump from the cage all the way to the kingdom. You have to build the bridge. You have to build the journey, and that day in, day out work is what it is. They're hunting that instant win, right? They're hunting the ability, instead of building the bridge or building the identity, they just want the result of the thing, right? I want to get skinny. I want to get more leads. I want to get whatever, but they're not willing to do the things that need to get there. I've seen it before where somebody's running ads. If I don't get 10 leads this week, I'm done. I'm turning this thing off. It doesn't work. No. Impatience is the graveyard of dreams. So if you are not patient, if you're not willing to put the effort in, impatience will kill every dream that you have. You must be willing to keep trying, to keep iterating, to keep testing, to keep tracking all of these things. We call it chopping the wood, right? It's doing the boring work every day, day in, day out, calling 50 people, calling 100 people, making sure that people are showing up, doing the content. Whatever that process is, I promise that process will pay off. But what you must understand is that the process is going to pay off at its own schedule. It's not going to pay off when you want it to. You can't control when the results show up, right? All you can do, the only thing that you can do, is keep showing up, keep doing the boring work, keep chopping the wood, and keep doing the effort that builds the bridge to the kingdom. So fulfillment or joy will really live in the work itself. And that's why we say fall in love with the process. If you can fall in love with the process, the results are going to happen. The transformation happens when you break free. And when you start to see that you're in a cage and you want to break free, that's when the transformation can begin, right? You start to break free from the cage. You start to build your path or your bridge to freedom. You start to build that bridge or path to the kingdom that you want, which is the result. The path of the work, that's how you start building that kingdom. You don't start building the kingdom without having a path to the spot, right? So when you start digging in and loving that process, you stop chasing the goal, and that's what we want to do. We stop chasing and we start creating. And so if we can start to create, that is the building of that capacity. The real fulfillment, the real happiness isn't the award ceremony. It's not, the money in the bank. It's the day in, day out grind, the path or the journey that gets you to that result. Because now you've done the hard work. You've done it and you love it. And you keep doing it to get to the next kingdom. It's in those late nights. It's in the lab. It's, testing things. It's training. It's doing all the things that you need to do to set that path on fire so that you can get to that goal that you're looking to do. That is where the team starts to trust you. You trust the process. You lean into the process. And that's where pride and purpose live, right? So they live inside of that journey. So, you don't master the game by chasing trophies. You don't master the game by chasing bank accounts, lead, sales, any of those things. You only master the game by doing the work. You master doing the work. And if you do that on a day in, day out basis, we call it chopping the wood, you will see results, no doubt, right? You have to build the road, you have to build the roadmap, you have to build the capacity before you can get to the goal. And when you love the work and when you lean into the work, you win no matter what. No matter what the scoreboard says, no matter what the student count is, no matter what the podium says, the scoreboard doesn't matter if you love the work and you love the training and you love digging into it. So that's what we've seen inside of Academy Kings and Pathfinder and inside of our school. All of the people that have had success in life, in business, in training, in martial arts, in jiu-jitsu, any of those things, those were the people that set a goal but didn't try to jump right to that goal. They embraced the grind, right? They embraced the training. They embraced the testing, the measuring, the improving, all of those things. Those are the ones that get success because they're not trying to go from 0 to 100. They're going 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. And if you can do that, you can build that bridge from the cage to the kingdom, right? From where you are stuck, stagnant right now to the goal or result that you want to get to. The ones who only chase the results, they're the ones that stay trapped. They stay trapped in the cage. They stay stuck in the business. They stay stuck in the relationships because they're not willing to break free step by step from that current situation that they're in. You have to be willing to build yourself around the process, not the result. Build yourself in the idea that I love the process, I love the work, I love doing the things in, day out, and if I can do that, the process is the bridge to the result that you want. So if you're looking for something to think about or take this to the next step, grab a piece of paper, just write down the idea, my job isn't the result. My job is the reps, right? So the idea is my job is the process, doing the thing day in, day out to get better, 1%, 0.5%, 0.25% each day in order to get to the result. If you do this on a day in, day out basis, your ads will do better, your sales will do better, your students count will go up, all of the things will happen and the result will get there. And you'll eventually see the result through the process of falling in love with the system. So you refine it, you test it, you track it. And that is the system that you're building. That is the path. And once you fall in love with that process, you will fall in love with the process over and over and over again because the results are what is going to get after that, right? The results will follow when the reps are real. So if you're doing the real work, the results will know, right? If you're doing the fake work and just saying, oh, I'm busy, I'm doing this and this, you're never going to hit that result. You have to do the real reps. You have to do the real chopping of the wood because this is how we get to the results. So if you like this, if you want more of this, stick around. We got lots of cool videos inside of Academy Kings or inside of the BJJ Business and Martial Arts Marketing podcast and YouTube channel. So if you can, share this with any friends that you might think this will help with. And also, please like and subscribe. We'd like to get our numbers up a little higher so that we can help more school owners and more business owners with some of this mindset, with some of these tactics, all of the stuff that we're doing. Please like and subscribe and check out more of the resources inside of the programs. Talk to you soon. And you're closer than you think to the academy of your dream.